Right. Do you see this fairly realistic illustration in this cover art? Do you see the realistically illustrated cars? Or the realistically illustrated driver? Now tell me, what do you expect the drivers in this game to look like?
No, 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 no. Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
Select race.
If you were gaming during the 90s, you have most probably heard of Team 17, or at the very least their most famous franchise, Worms, a highly addicting turn-based action strategy game with worms. But I will talk about that later. Instead, I will start with another obscure game. Overdrive, developed by a little-known two-man studio called Psionic Systems, is a top-down racing game published by Team 17 for the Amiga in 1993 and subsequently ported to DOS PCs, and it is very likely the first racing game I have ever played. When you first hear about it, it sounds exciting. You can race in a variety of different racing disciplines like off-road, Grand Prix, street, and then a sort of mix of these. Win races and earn money to pay the fees to enter even more races. In practice, things were simpler. Regardless of what car and truck you had, the cars handled generally the same. You had a series of 10 races you had to complete, then a boss, and that's it. The whole thing could be done and over with in less than an hour. But guess what? I never finished it. Using this screen, you could actually swap races and then play them, but this screen seemed like gibberish to me. I just pressed enter and I played whatever the game served me, which was inconvenient when I ended up playing the same race type over and over again. Another thing I noticed is that Overdrive is a wee bit glitchy. I remember back in the day when I could glitch off the track and drive outside it, which resulted in a glitch screen. Unfortunately, I was unable to replicate the glitch. When I was old enough, I tried looking for Overdrive online, only there was a small issue. I knew the game's name based on its executable file, Over, no matter that the name was right there on the title screen, and I had no idea about developers and publishers back then, so I wouldn't know it was Team 17. And you can probably imagine it wasn't the easiest game to find. I eventually stumbled upon it in an abandonware site. I was ecstatic to finally find it. By that time I was acquainted with companies, so imagine my surprise when I learned that it was Team 17 that published it. The same company that published our next game. What can be said about Worms that hasn't been said already? A highly addictive mix of action and strategy, improving on an old formula that was established by an older game called Scorched Earth. I was familiar with the demo of Worms, which, let's be honest, was enough for it and its theme to be burned into my mind. Me and my younger brother rarely ever played against each other. What we did instead was try to blow up the demon on the hell level, as we made him out to be some sort of villain in a make-your-own-fun way. I can't recall how long it was part of our childhood. Time when you're a kid seems longer. It could have been just a few months, it could have been a couple of years. But no matter. Sometime later, my dad brought something home. A revelation. an apocalypse, and... I basically skipped Worms 2, and when I found out about it, I didn't think I missed much, since Armageddon is a much more improved and enriched version of Worms 2. The first thing that struck me as I started playing Worms Armageddon was the fact that my language was in the game.
Proto-Emma.
I can't remember any game that did that in the past, so it was a pretty unprecedented experience. Oh boy, how many hours we spent with friends and family playing against each other, and personally how many hours I spent customizing my team. The game is still very fun after nearly 20 years now. Not many games can claim to age as gracefully as Worms Armageddon did. We enjoyed this game for quite some time, but alas, this was not meant to last. One day, me or someone, I'm not really sure, put the game in the CD tray to play it. For some reason the disk drive spun the disk to its breaking point. Not only the game was gone, the drive died as well. I practically removed chunks of the disk from the drive. In a time with no internet and no money of your own, losing a game meant that it was lost forever. After Armageddon, many other Worms games came out, and I haven't played them all. Those I played were Worms 3D, Worms 4 Under Siege, Worms 4 Mayhem, and Worms Revolution. All good in their own right, but unable to have the impact of Worms Armageddon. And with this, the second Memoirs of a Gamer video concludes. Do you have any interesting memories and stories with Overdrive and Worms? Let me know in the comments. And let's not forget, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. This has been Retro Amateur. Thanks for watching.